What is up, guys? We are back with another video, and today we're talking about super fast storage. Now, if you went out and built a Ryzen 3000 series system, you definitely want to take advantage of PCI-Express 4.0 storage. Now, there's only about a handful of drives out there, but we wanted to tell you about one from Sabrent. It is their Rocket NVMe 4.0. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, before we get started, I want to let you know that we will be giving away one of these drives that are sitting right here in front of me. So definitely check out the giveaway link below where you can get entered. It's super easy. Just like all of our contests, we do them through Gleam. So go ahead and check that link out. The Rocket NVMe 4.0 is based off the same controller that we've seen on this, pretty much first round of Gen 4 drives. It's the Phison PS5016-E16, or the Phison E16 as most of us are calling it. And then you have 96 layer Toshiba TLC NAND. What's really nice about this drive is that Sabrent offers it in two different flavors per se. We have, our normal, just plain NVMe, M.2 drive here that has no cooling whatsoever. So you can use the cooling on your own motherboard, or if you want to make some cooling or buy an extra cooler, you have just this one right here. And then you have this big boy right here, which comes with this very insanely big heatsink. This is actually the biggest heatsink that I've ever seen on an M.2 drive. It's just massively big. It's actually bigger than the one we saw on the Aorus Gen 4 drive. And it actually has 3 copper heat pipes in it. It has a big, thick aluminum stack. And then actually this top heat spreader that has the Rocket logo right there. And it has this kind of gold accent. It is huge. One thing that's interesting is that this actually doesn't come like this. You get you would get this drive and then you'd have to kind of put this together, which is kind of interesting, but it is pretty easy to put together. It's a two-piece design, so you actually get cooling on the entire bottom as well. The only thing with something this big is that you're gonna have to make sure that you'll have room on your motherboard. Now, a lot of M.2 drives sit below or under where your graphics card's going to be. So definitely make sure if you go this route, of this drive with the cooling, is that you want to, make sure you just have room. If you're gonna put graphics cards, just make sure you have the clearance. Moving on to testing, we tested this drive against, of course, the other Gen 4 drive that we reviewed, the Aorus NVMe 4.0, but we also tested it against pretty much the fastest Gen 3 drives that we reviewed as well. So here are those results. As you can see, the drive performs pretty much up to its specifications, which is really good to see. Now, the other thing that we went ahead and did is test temperatures because, we wanted to see if we could actually run this without any cooling whatsoever. And it actually did run. It did get rather hot, and I'm actually surprised at the temperatures that it didn't throttle. And then we tested, of course, the big boy heatsink here, but we also tested the heat sinks that are on our motherboard as well. So here are those results. So looking at the results, we can definitely tell that, you know, if you're gonna get the heatsink version, it's definitely gonna be more than enough cooling. We did, like I said, run it without any cooling, and to our surprise, it did not throttle whatsoever. Very surprising that it didn't, given the temperature. We definitely wouldn't recommend running this without a cooler. We also ran it with the heatsinks built into our Aorus X570 motherboard. No issues there, just a little bit, you know, a little bit under the cooling performance we saw from this big cooler, but I think that most X570 motherboards will come with a cooling. So, you know, most people should just be okay buying this. You don't really need to get the big version right here. But like I said, wouldn't suggest running it without cooling, but most X570 motherboards do have the cooling built in. So at the end of the day, I think we have a really great, super fast NVMe, you know, Gen 4 drive here. Again, there's only a handful of these out here right now, and I think Sabrent has a really good drive here. It uses the same components as pretty much all of these other drives. You know, I think that especially this version with the big cooler, I mean, the big cooler just looks awesome. It's gonna look awesome on your motherboard. The only thing you have to worry about with getting this big guy is that it is going to take up some space and you might have clearance issues with graphics cards. But I love seeing big coolers on M.2 drives. It's just all about, you know, having that space. As far as performance, it performs right up to its specifications, which was 5,000 megabytes a second read and 4,400 megabytes a second write. So if you're looking for a fast drive, this is definitely, you know, up there. And the pricing is not all that bad. So for the 1 terabyte versions, this without any cooling is $199, and this with the cooler is $219. And then they actually sell the cooler by itself as well. The cooler by itself is $24.99. So if you had an older drive that you want to, you know, get some cooling for and get a big old M.2 heatsink, you can buy that for $24.99 as well. As I said in the beginning of this video, we are giving this drive away. We're giving the non-cooler version away right here, so you can install this on your X570 rig. The giveaway link is in the description, guys, so you can go ahead and check that out. We'll also have links below where you can, of course, pick this drive up, as well as to our full written review on ThinkComputers.org. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, I would appreciate it if you hit that thumbs up. And if you enjoy our tech content, go ahead and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next video.